There is apparent tension in Nigeria over the arrest of a popular human rights activist, Martin's Vincent Otse aka VeryDarkMan or VDM, who was allegedly seized by Nigeria security operatives in a manner that have kept many wondering, suspecting acts of oppression and intimidation based on threats issued by the ruling political party, All Progressives Congress, APC, against the human rights activist, after the activist condemned the Nigeria Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, for traveling to Vatican in Italy to attend Pope Francis' burial ceremony, while, he said, the Senate President has failed to visit states where almost daily burial ceremonies are often held, in some states like Plateau, Benue, Kwara, Enugu and Ogun States, where gunmen, bandits are killing the Senate President fellow citizens in large numbers unabated in recent time in Nigeria, and angered by the talks, the APC South-South Zonal Organizing Secretary, Blessing Agbomhere, issued 7 days ultimatum to VeryDarkMan to apologize to the Senate President, who led 5-man federal government delegation to Rome to attend the late Catholic head funeral ceremony, but immediately, VeryDarkMan in a video issued the public apology to the victims of insecurity in the West Africa country, and in the video, he further accused and condemned the Senate President and other Nigeria leaders for being insensitivity to their institutional responsibilities of protecting lives, saying, insecurity, killing hundreds of people often in Nigeria, is as a result of leadership failure on the part of the Senate President and members of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led government, and surprisingly, Deji Adeyanju, the lawyer to the activist, said that VeryDarkMan was arrested at Guaranty Trust Bank, GTB in Abuja on Friday in a more dehumanizing manner, and after he was trapped at the exit door at the GTB premises for 5 minutes, some security operatives came and covered his face with a black cloth before he was led away, and for more than 48 hours, Nigeria authority is yet to issue statement over the arrest of the human rights activist who had on Friday went with her mother to the GTB bank to get clarification over the unauthorized withdrawals constantly done on his mother's savings account, after the activist suspected that someone may have used his mother's national identification number, NIN, to take loan from the GTB bank. CCTV footage apparently made available by the bank indicated that VeryDarkMan was obviously intercepted at the bank exit gate, as he was seen coming out from a vehicle and entering the bank security house, with passers-by who were about to enter the banking hall looking back with a feeling of surprise. The arrest has sparked outrage online and raised questions about the bank's alleged complicity in what critics describe as a targeted crackdown to repress the voice that can speak and speak louder. According to his legal representative, activist lawyer Deji Adeyanju, VeryDarkMan was ambushed by EFCC operatives right inside GT Bank premises. In a statement posted online, Adeyanju revealed that VDM was trapped inside the bank's exit door for over 5 minutes, a move he claims was a deliberate ploy to enable EFCC officers effect the arrest. VDM was locked inside the GTB exit door for over 5 minutes to enable EFCC arrest him and his friend, Adeyanju said. We will be taking legal actions against GTB for the inhumane treatment meted out to our client. We will issue a public statement soon. Adeyanju further disclosed that his legal team, led by Marvin Omorogbe, had already located the detained activist and were working to secure his release. Our lawyers led by the head of our firm Marvin Omorogbe just met VDM's friend who was arrested together with him in EFCC custody. VDM refused to come out of the cell, that he won't see anyone, Adeyanju said. We have located VDM and are working on getting him out. Our lawyers are now with him, he added. It would be recalled that the South-South Zonal Organizing Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Blessing Agbomhere, Esquire, has warned the social media influencer, Martin's Vincent Otse, popularly known as VeryDarkMan, to immediately tender an unreserved apology to the President of the Senate and number 3 citizen of Nigeria, Senator Godswill Akpabio, following what he described as Otse's unwarranted and slanderous verbal attack on the person of Akpabio for leading a 5-man federal government delegation to the funeral of Pope Francis at the Vatican. In a 3-minute viral video on social media, VeryDarkMan described Akpabio's visit to Rome as shameful, insisting that the President of the Senate lacked the moral standing to attend the Pope's funeral when he would have used less time to visit Benue, Plateau, Kwara, Ogun and Enugu states that are currently bedeviled by large-scale insecurity as a result of attacks by marauding herdsmen, which has led to the death of scores of innocent Nigerians. The South-South Zonal Organizing Secretary of the APC issued a stern warning to VeryDarkMan, urging him to desist from slandering law-abiding and critical stakeholders in Project Nigeria, all in the name of activism. This individual, known as VeryDarkMan, is now notorious for blackmail, slander and character assassination while pretending to be an advocate for the masses and social crusader. The unwarranted verbal attack on the President of the Senate is yet another of such aimless, baseless and uninformed diatribe, this time targeted at the number 3 citizen of Nigeria who did not send himself to Rome but was duly nominated by President Bola Tinubu to lead a strong 5-man delegation to represent Nigeria at the Pope's funeral. What exactly is wrong in that? Being a devout Catholic and family man with unblemished character, President Tinubu saw in Akpabio a worthy ambassador of Nigeria to such an event as the Pope's funeral and wasted no time in thrusting that responsibility on him. Just like the scriptures admonished Christians to celebrate with those that are celebrating and to mourn with those that are bereaved, the Nigerian delegation led by Akpabio joined the rest of the world to mourn the passing of the head of the Catholic Church. What is wrong in that? I am, with this statement, issuing VeryDarkMan a 1-week ultimatum to immediately tender an unreserved apology to the President of the Senate for the slanderous comments and to desist from further bringing the integrity of the President Bola Tinubu-led administration into disrepute in the eyes of the global community. The statement read in parts. Agbomhere urged Nigerians to ignore the uninformed ranting of VeryDarkMan, adding that the current administration is working assiduously behind the scene to tackle the pervasive insecurity across the country which it inherited from previous administrations. Upon his return from France and the United Kingdom, President Tinubu met with security chiefs, and during the meeting he gave them marching orders to ensure that a different approach is deployed in the fight against insecurity. Does this sound like a man who is not serious about protecting the lives and property of Nigerians? Mind you, the complex security problems in the country cannot be wished away with a wave of the hand. It takes time to achieve a semblance of peace, and that is a commitment that the Tinubu-led administration made to Nigerians while assuming office and is still committed to achieving, the statement concludes. The Senate President-led delegation, which included Minister Bianca Odumegwu Ojukwu and prominent clerics like Archbishops Lucius Ugroji, Matthew Kakar, and Ignatius Kaigama, delivered Tinubu's condolences to the Vatican following the Pope's death on April 21, 2025, a day after he led Easter Mass. President Tinubu, who hailed the late Pope as a humble servant of God and tireless champion of the poor, stated his passing post-Easter symbolizes a sacred return to his Maker, offering hope to Christians globally. A Nigerian wrote on social media account that the APC's fiery rebuttal failed to quell public outrage, with critics accusing the ruling party of prioritizing optics over action. Complex security problems can't be wished away with a wave of the hand, the party conceded, even as it doubled down on silencing VeryDarkMan. With the clock ticking on the apology deadline, Nigeria's political arena braces for a showdown. Will the influencer bow to pressure, or will this spark a broader revolt against perceived government insensitivity? For now, the battle lines are drawn: Rome versus ruins, power versus protest. Federal High Court sitting in Lagos State has sentenced a woman to 1 year imprisonment with no option of fine for being caught and arraigned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for selling or hawking Nigeria legal tender, Naira currency. The woman, according to the court ruling, had been convicted before by another court for Naira abuse. This, as another federal high court also in Lagos State convicted a man and ordered the man to forfeit to the federal government more than £8,000 he failed to declare or submit before the Nigerian Customs Service at the International Airport in Lagos. and in addition, the court sentenced the man to 6 months imprisonment with option of 200,000 nairas fine. Details of the reports are presented verbatim below as reported and contained in the news release made available by the Public Relations Unit of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Court jails ex-convict, one other for hawking naira notes in Lagos. Justice Yellen Bogoro of the Federal High Court, sitting in Ikoyi, Lagos, on Friday, May 2, 2025, convicted and sentenced the duo of Folake Adeoti and Modupe Adewuyi to 1 year imprisonment, each for hawking naira notes. They were arraigned by the Lagos Zonal Directorate 1 of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Awolowo Road, Ikoyi, Lagos on a separate 1-count charge, bordering on illegal hawking of naira notes. The charge against Adeoti reads, that you, Folake Adeoti, on the 21st day of March, 2025, opposite Regency Hall, Jobi Fele, Way, Ikeja, in Lagos within the jurisdiction of this honorable court, hawked the sum of 3,850,000 nairas, 3,850,000 naira, issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria and thereby committed an offense contrary to and punishable under Section 21(4) of the Central Bank of Nigeria Act, 2007. That of Adewuyi reads, that you, Modupe Adewuyi, on the 21st day of March, 2025, at Jobi Fele Street, opposite Regency Event Center, Alausa Ikeja, in Lagos, within the jurisdiction of this honorable court, engaged in hawking the total sum of 1,600,000 nairas, 1,600,000 naira, of 500 nairas and 1,000 nairas denominations, issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria and thereby committed an offense contrary to Section 21(4) and punishable under Section 21(1) of the Central Bank of Nigeria Establishment Act, 2007. They pleaded guilty to their charges, following which prosecution counsel, ZB Atiku tendered the confessional statement as well as the money recovered from them in evidence and urged the court to convict and sentence them accordingly. The prosecution counsel further informed the court that Adeoti was an ex-convict, having been prosecuted before Justice Ibrahim Kala and convicted on the same matter of naira abuse. Justice Bogoro sentenced Adeoti to 1 year imprisonment without an option of fine. In addition, her POS machine as well as the money recovered from her were forfeited to the federal government. Adewuyi also bagged 1 year imprisonment or to pay 500,000 nairas, 500,000 naira fine. In addition, her POS machine and money recovered from her were also forfeited to the federal government. Adeoti and Adewuyi were intercepted on March 21, 2025 along Jobi Fele Way, Ikeja, Lagos, while hawking naira notes to the tune of 3,850,000 nairas and 1,600,000 nairas, respectively. Alleged money laundering. EFCC rearraigns man for non-declaration of $90,000. The Lagos Zonal Directorate 2 of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Okoti Ebo, Ikoyi, Lagos, on Friday, May 2, 2025, rearraigned one Alhaji Ahmed Shaw before Justice Deji Adeyanju of the Federal High Court, sitting in Ikoyi, Lagos for money laundering. He was arrested on March 3, 2025 at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, for non-declaration of the sum of $90,000, 90,000 United States dollars, and was handed over to the EFCC for further investigations. He was arraigned on April 3, 2025 on a 1-count charge, bordering on money laundering. The charge reads, that you, Alhaji Ahmed Shaw, on the 3rd day of March, 2025 in Lagos, within the jurisdiction of this honorable court, failed to make a declaration of the sum of $90,000, 90,000 United States of America dollars, to the Nigeria Customs Service at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, and you thereby committed an offense contrary to and punishable under Section 3(5) of the Money Laundering, Prohibition and Prevention Act, 2022. He pleaded not guilty to the charge when it was read to him. At the sitting on April 15, 2025, the prosecution presented the first prosecution witness, PW1, Danladi Ibrahim, an NDLEA operative in the matter. However, at the resumed sitting of May 2, 2025, Defense Counsel, E.I. Ogundeji, informed the court that the defendant wished to change his not guilty plea. He was, therefore, rearraigned on the same charge to enable him take his new plea, and he pleaded guilty. Following his new plea, prosecution counsel, Z.B. Atiku, called on Aminu Lawal, an operative of the EFCC, to review the facts of the case. Led in evidence by the prosecution counsel, Lawal told the court that the defendant was arrested with the sum of $90,000, which he failed to declare. His statement was recorded under caution, and he narrated that he did not declare the sum of $90,000, 90,000 United States dollars, he said. Lawal identified the defendant's statement, the handover note from the NDLEA, the arresting officer's statement, as well as the sum of $90,000, 90,000 US dollars, which were all tendered in evidence. Justice Dipeolu adjourned the matter till May 6, 2025 for delivery of judgment. Court jails man for non-declaration of £8,020, $704 in Lagos Airport. Justice Yellam Bogoro of the Federal High Court, sitting in Ikoyi, Lagos, on Friday, May 2, 2025, convicted and sentenced one Agadosi Christopher Ochukwu to 6 months imprisonment for non-declaration of foreign currencies at Lagos Airport. Ochukwu was arrested in December 2024 at Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos by operatives of the Nigerian Customs Service, NCS, for non-declaration of the sums of £8,020, £8,020 British pounds, and $704, and handed over to the Lagos Zonal Directorate II of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Okotiebo, Ikoyi, Lagos for further investigations. He was arraigned on Tuesday, April 15, 2025 on a 2-count charge, bordering on money laundering. One of the charges reads, that you, Agadosi Christopher Ochukwu, on the 10th day of December, 2024 in Lagos, within the jurisdiction of this honorable court, failed to make a declaration of the sum of £8,020, £8,020 sterling, to the Nigerian Customs Service at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, and thereby committed an offence contrary to and punishable under Section 3(5) of the Money Laundering, Prevention and Prohibition Act, 2022. He pleaded guilty to the charges, following which prosecution counsel, C.C. Okezi, called on Abubakar Magaji, an EFCC operative, to review the facts of the case. Magaji informed the court that Ochukwu had a total sum of £15,020, £15,020 British pounds, and $704, and that while he declared £7,000, 7,000 British pounds, he kept back £8,020, £8,020 sterling, and $704, claiming that he lost his brother and was going to use the undeclared sums to fly his corpse back to the country. At Friday sitting, Justice Bogoro convicted and sentenced him to 6 months imprisonment on both counts, or to pay 200,000 naira on each. In addition, he forfeited the sums of £8,020 and $704 to the federal government. Edo State Police Command of Nigeria Police Force has confirmed the arrest of 95 persons in connection with the killing of more than 15 people between April 25, 2025 and now, in the renewed deadly and bloody apparent supremacy secret cult war in the state among members of the Black Axe Confraternity aka Ahye, Maphite Confraternity aka Great Men, and Aye Confraternity aka Airlids, which started with the killing of a physiotherapist, simply identified as Alex, and another individual at the University of Benin Teaching Hospital, UBTH Back Gate, Ugbowo, in Benin, with the Edo state government led by Governor Monday Okpebholo launching a retaliatory war against businesses and individuals allegedly aiding secret cult killings in the state, thus sealed off Eterno Hotel, planned to demolish the hotel owned by People's Democratic Party, PDP chieftain, Honorable Matthew Idaikemwen, who was the Director General of Asuan Ogie campaign organization in the last governorship election in the state, on the ground that a particular secret cult group members gathered at the Eterno Hotel to plan their recent killings in the state, and in addition, the Edo state governor also sealed off and marked a residential building for demolition also owned by a PDP chieftain, Francis Enegbuneki. According to the police, the Edo State Police Command arrested 95 suspected cultists and recovered 2 locally made pistols, 1 single-barrel shotgun and 24 live cartridges in sustained intelligence-driven raids of their enclaves in Benin City and environs for the past week. These suspects, who belong to the notorious Maphites, Aye and Ahie confraternities, were suspected to be responsible for the cult supremacy killings in the state. The Commissioner of Police, CP Monday Agbonika, urges parents and guardians to keep a tab on the activities of their wards in order to curb the menace of cultism. He further warned youths in the state to desist from joining unlawful societies that could only dim their future and ultimately claim their lives or that of other innocent persons. 64 of the suspects have been charged to court and remanded, while investigation continues on the remaining suspects, the police command spokesperson, Moses Yamu stated. Office of the Chief Press Secretary to the Edo State Governor in a statement state that Edo State Governor, Senator Monday Okpebholo, has issued a stern warning to landlords, declaring that his administration will not hesitate to demolish buildings linked to criminal activities such as kidnapping, cultism, and rituals. The governor emphasized his administration's resolve to ensure a crime-free environment in the state. Governor Okpebholo gave the warning while personally supervising the demolition of a building located in the Ogege area of Benin City. The building was reportedly used for internet fraud and kidnapping, with victims allegedly held against their will and subjected to ritualistic practices. Visibly disturbed by what he witnessed at the site, the governor said, "I am saddened by what is happening here. Children were kidnapped and kept here for years. You can see the shrines in this apartment. This is wickedness in its highest form. This kind of evil is unacceptable in Edo State." Reaffirming his administration's commitment to security, the governor vowed, "We will continue to fight crime and criminality. Wherever they hide, we will fish them out and demolish their hideouts. There will be no sanctuary for criminals in Edo State. We are serious and resolute. Edo must be safe." Governor Okpebholo also announced plans to repurpose the sites of demolished properties for public use. "We are going to build a police station here. Any land where such buildings are taken down will be used to serve the community," he assured. In a related development, the Edo state government has made significant progress in its crackdown on cultism, following the demolition of an operational base belonging to a notorious cult group implicated in recent killings in Benin City. The facility, located at the end of Arena Street in Amagba GRA, featured a hall, several rooms fitted with mattresses, and office spaces, believed to have served as a hub for the group's activities. The property is also bordered by a moat reportedly used for initiation rituals. Notably, the premises also contained an industrial overhead stand and tanks donated by its Asia region 2016-2021. This action follows the recent enforcement of a new anti-cultism law signed by Governor Okpebholo, which empowers the state to demolish properties associated with cult activities. Meanwhile, in response to an uptick in cult-related violence in the city, the state government has sealed off Eterno Hotel, located in the heart of Benin's GRA. The hotel is allegedly linked to another cult group believed to be behind recent killings in the area. Governor Okpebholo reiterated his administration's zero-tolerance stance. No stone will be left unturned, and no individual, regardless of their status, will be spared under the provisions of the cultism-related offenses law. "We are determined to restore peace and order in Edo State," Fred Ichua, the Governor Chief Press Secretary stated. In another press release, the Chief Press Secretary Office reported that the Edo State Governor, Senator Monday Okpebholo, has launched a crackdown on crime-related properties, beginning with the demolition of buildings connected to kidnappings and cult-related violence in the state. During the demolition of a residential duplex in Benin City used for kidnapping and organ harvesting, the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Fred Ichua, who spoke on behalf of Governor Monday Okpebholo, told journalists that the government had also sealed off a Turno hotel and an event center. These facilities, according to Governor Okpebholo, are being used by cult groups as gathering points before launching attacks that claim several lives. Mr. Ichua confirmed that the demolished property was the site of a gruesome crime involving the abduction and killing of a young woman for organ harvesting. He revealed that the suspect has been arrested in Lagos and will be extradited to Edo State to face prosecution. The building was where the crime occurred, and it is owned by the father of the suspect, who has also made useful statements to the authorities, Mr. Ichua stated. His Excellency has directed that this is only the beginning. More buildings used for criminal activities will be demolished. This is backed by existing laws enacted by the present administration. He emphasized that the crackdown was not politically motivated, contrary to speculations. This is not a political witch hunt. These buildings were used for acts that contravene the laws of Edo State. The governor has made it clear that anyone involved in cultism or related crimes will face the full force of the law, he added. The owner of the demolished building, Mr. Martins Oghenawar, recounted the shocking moment he learned of the crime. On the 23rd of this month, while returning home, my wife called to inform me that our son had murdered a woman in his quarters. I immediately reported to the police, who followed me home and helped convey the corpse to the mortuary. I've been in police custody since then, he said. Mr. Oghenawar further disclosed that his 28-year-old son had long exhibited troubling behavior. I trained him from primary school through university in Ikpoma. For over a decade, he has been a problem. I took him to rehab, neuropsychiatric centers, and even traditional healers. He rarely slept at home, drank excessively, and was often missing. Now he has destroyed everything I worked for. This house was my retirement plan, and now I'm watching it being torn down. It's heartbreaking, he lamented. Authorities confirmed the suspect was apprehended in Lagos with human body parts recovered from him. Investigations are ongoing as the government intensifies efforts to stamp out kidnapping and cultism across the state. Fred Ichua, the Chief Press Secretary to Edo State Governor, in a feature news story published during the week on the actions and activities of the state governor in tackling kidnapping and secret cult activities in the state, said, "A government worth its salt will do all it needs to protect its people." In Edo State, Governor Okpebholo has shown clear and purposeful leadership by taking decisive steps to confront two of the most persistent threats to the state's peace, cultism and kidnapping. From the outset of his administration, he identified these crimes as a grave menace to societal stability and public safety. He promptly convened a Security Council meeting and issued a 48-hour ultimatum to the Commissioner of Police to halt the bloody cult clashes that erupted in parts of Benin City, sending a clear message of zero tolerance. To give his words legal backing, Governor Okpebholo signed into law two critical legislations: the Secret Cult and Similar Activities Prohibition Law, 2025, and the Kidnapping Prohibition Amendment Law, 2025. These laws provide severe consequences for offenders: 21 years imprisonment for sponsors of cultism, 10 years for individuals harboring cultists, and the death penalty for cult-related killings. Similarly, convicted kidnappers face the death penalty, while any property used to facilitate the crime is to be confiscated and demolished. However, Governor Okpebholo's approach has gone beyond legislation. It is being matched with deliberate and determined implementation. Since the enactment of these laws, Edo State has seen the demolition of several buildings used as hideouts by kidnappers or as rendezvous points for cult groups. In March 2025, the government began pulling down structures in Ila and Aromi used in high-profile kidnapping cases, including those where victims were kept until ransoms were paid. In one instance, a property in Esioririera in Owen East local government area, reportedly belonging to a kidnap informant, was flattened after investigations confirmed its use in coordinating abductions. The crackdown on cultism has been equally forceful. Apartments and facilities identified as cult meeting points have been sealed and marked for demolition. A notable example is Eterno Hotel, located in the upscale GR axis of Benin City, where cultists allegedly convened to strategize before launching coordinated attacks across the city. Security agencies have continued to apprehend suspects, and the state government has remained firm in its resolve that anyone found culpable will be prosecuted and punished accordingly, said Fred Ichua.
Godswill Akpabio, bringing you the news in a more digital way.